Now to New York with a real-life story so shocking, this sounds like it was ripped out of the pages of, I don't know, a Tom Clancy novel, maybe.
The Justice Department charged a Japanese Yakuza gang leader with trafficking nuclear weapons.
Next, American prosecutors have charged an alleged member of a Japanese organized crime group with attempting to traffic nuclear materials to Iran.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another obscure Asian story. You might know the Yakuza as a criminal gang in Japan, a complex group of syndicates and the country's most powerful and misunderstood criminal gangs. They have a deep-rooted connection to 400 years of Japanese history. Traditionally, the Japanese Yakuza have been involved in what many would see as minor crimes: drug trafficking, prostitution, and blackmail. The drug trade has been particularly crucial to the Yakuza. Even today, the Yakuza imports nearly all illegal drugs in Japan. Meth is among the most popular, but they also import a consistent supply of marijuana, MDMA, ketamine, and any other substances they believe people will purchase. As one Yakuza leader stated, drugs are simply profitable. Drugs are a surefire way to make money. It's the one thing you can't get without connections to the underworld. However, drugs aren't the only things the Yakuza imports. They are also involved in human trafficking. Yakuza agents travel to South America, Eastern Europe, and the Philippines and entice young girls to come to Japan, promising them high-paying jobs and exciting careers. Members of Japan's Yakuza, a term used to describe a variety of underworld organizations, have increased their international presence in recent years. This shift comes as they move away from traditional income sources like protection rackets and prostitution and face a crackdown by Japanese authorities.
The U.S. Treasury moved to block Shinoda and his deputy, Kiyoshi Takayama, from any U.S. assets and transactions in an effort to freeze them out of the global financial market.
In 2012, the U.S. Treasury Department announced that it had frozen the assets of the Yamaguchi-gumi, Japan's most powerful Yakuza gang, and prohibited it from doing business in the U.S. This action was in response to the gang's growing involvement in drug and human trafficking, money laundering, and other international crimes. What trouble did the Yakuza find themselves in today? It appears they have moved past minor offenses and are now involved in major crimes. Today's incident involves global spying, suspected arms and drug smuggling, and a supposed Yakuza member has been accused by the US authorities of dealing in nuclear substances. So what led to the situation? From early 2020, Takeshi Ebisawa was involved in a scheme to transport uranium and weapons-grade plutonium, which he believed could be used by countries like Iran for the nuclear weapons program. Legal documents against Ebisawa reference 3 insurgent groups in Myanmar: the United Wa State Army, the Karen National Liberation Army, and the Shan State Army. However, the updated indictment clarifies that a leader of the SSA was prepared to sell uranium to finance the purchase of weapons. This leader, referred to as CC1 in both the 2022 criminal complaint and the 2024 updated indictment, is described as the chairman of the Restoration Council of Shan State, which is the political branch of the SSA. Rod Serk, the chairman of the Restoration Council of Shan State and a prominent SSA leader, has been accused of numerous crimes, including terrorism, village arson, rape, drug trafficking, and counterfeit currency production. The charges allege that Yod Serk confirmed to Ebisawa and others that uranium was being extracted in SSA-controlled areas. On February 25, 2024, Yod Serk publicly denied any involvement in the charges, stating that while a foreign individual had shown interest in purchasing uranium a few years ago, the deal fell through. However, Ebisawa and his accomplices are suspected of trying to smuggle nuclear materials from Myanmar between early 2020 and February 2022. During the operation, they presented nuclear material samples to an undercover U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration agent who was acting as a drug and weapons dealer. Sawa believed he was selling nuclear materials to an Iranian military officer for a nuclear weapons program and intended to buy military-grade weapons. The nuclear material originated from an anonymous leader of a rebel group in Myanmar who had been extracting uranium in the country. Starting in early 2020, Ebisawa informed a DEA agent and later the general, also an undercover agent, that he had nuclear material for sale. Photos showing rocky substances with Geiger counters measuring irradiation and lab reports confirming the material's radioactivity were also provided, according to the document. In a message on September 5, 2020, one of the DEA agents sent a message to Ebisawa asking, "How enriched is it? Above 5%? They don't need it for energy. Iranian government need it for nuclear weapons." Ebisawa replied, "I think so, and I hope so." Thai officials helped U.S. investigators transfer the nuclear samples to the U.S., where a U.S. nuclear forensic lab later confirmed the samples contained uranium and weapons-grade plutonium. In February 2022, Ebisawa met with agents in a hotel room in Phuket, Thailand, where he reportedly provided them with samples of nuclear substances. A U.S. nuclear forensic lab later verified that the samples contained uranium and weapons-grade plutonium, which could be used to make a nuclear weapon if produced in large enough quantities.
It takes a global effort of law enforcement and other.
April 2022, Ebisawa, Shinghasiri, and another Thai national were apprehended, indicted, and accused of trafficking drugs and weapons, including surface-to-air missiles. Ebisawa is currently in custody in New York, awaiting trial with new charges added to the existing ones. Court records claim that Takeshi Ebisawa, a high-ranking member of a Japanese criminal group, attempted to trade enriched uranium and plutonium for a large number of assault rifles, rocket-propelled grenades, and surface-to-air missiles, among other weapons. These were intended for an unidentified leader of an ethnic rebel group in Burma, who was acquainted with an Iranian general looking to obtain the highly regulated material for Iran's nuclear program. Ebisawa is alleged to have offered 50 metric tons of uranium and other substance used in the creation of nuclear weapons for over $9 million. The leader of the Yakuza also negotiated for the purchase of lethal weapons, including surface-to-air missiles, M60 machine guns, AK-47s, and armor-piercing ammunition. Despite the Justice Department's belief that Ebisawa is a leader within the Japanese Yakuza, Japanese police informed Yomiuri Shimbun on July 27, 2022, that there was no verified information linking Ebisawa to a leadership role or any connection to Japanese domestic organized crime. His own claims of being connected to the Yakuza are dubious at best. The term Yakuza actually refers to a number of independent groups, including the Yamaguchi-gumi, Sumiyoshi-kai, and Inagawa-kai. It's uncertain which of these Ebisawa was part of it, if any. There's significant skepticism about whether he's a member of the Yakuza at all, let alone a leader. The only individuals who have spoken up about the case have labeled Ebisawa as a scam artist who is skilled at speaking but not a Yakuza member. There's an abundance of evidence supporting nearly all aspects of Ebisawa's deal, making it hard to dismiss the uranium component.
Last year, I announced indictments in 4.
U.S. Attorney Damian Williams stated in an indictment, "The severity of the conduct alleged in today's indictment cannot be overstated." Ebisawa is facing charges including conspiracy to commit international trafficking of nuclear materials, conspiracy to import narcotics, conspiracy to acquire, transfer, and possess anti-aircraft missiles, and money laundering. This is a striking example of the heartlessness of drug traffickers who operate with complete disregard for human life. Myanmar has been repeatedly accused of attempting to develop a nuclear weapon, but no solid proof has surfaced yet. If the investigation into Ebisawa verifies Yacht Cirque's participation and the SSA production of radioactive substances, could see a fresh round of U.S. sanctions against the SSA and its allied government. This would likely further strain the already tense relations between the US and Myanmar, particularly in the context of escalating tensions with China and Iran, both of whom could potentially purchase Myanmar's uranium. For now, we'll just have to wait for the outcome of Ebisawa's trial to see if he really was a Yakuza member after all. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time, and thanks for watching!